But if you had outrageous journalists asking improper, irreverent questions, that would be a little more interesting. We'd have to move a little more swiftly.
What question would you have asked? If you had the opportunity to question Dole or Clinton, what would you have brought up?
I would ask Bob Dole what he's doing to look as nice as he does, because he's older, and he's got a flat tummy, and he looks great, and his face looks great. I want to know if he's doing face exercises, or is he doing 20 laps every
So you're voting for the fellow with the thigh master. You don't really care what they think.
I've got a question for you to ask my friend here. He's young.
Right.
What are we going to do to get him involved in politics and listening and watching and caring?
Oh, I watch it.
You don't need to ask. I just did.
Oh, no. That was my next question.
I don't know. I care about politics, I think, as much as more than the average American. You know, just especially this year. It's a lot at stake for ethnic people.
Do you watch them?
Sure, I understand.
Do you watch these people when they are on David Brinkley or on they're debating or?
Well, you know, I didn't watch it at first, but when Dole fell, I said it might happen again. So many people told me about it. I don't want to.
So you watched it to see if Dole would trip once again?
We've got a problem, I think, in Britain now, because all the spin doctors looking after the parties in Britain...
Yeah, we don't have those here.
They're copying... They're copying the American styles. So we're just rubbish at doing it. Our idea of trying to make John Major look more kind of showbizy, he took his jacket off. Honestly, they thought because he's in shirt sleeves, he's really kicking in now.
So you would have suggested if he took his jacket off to have a corset or something exciting underneath that?
Anything. And then they said, well, he copied Tony Blair because he'd done it. So our politicians are quibbling about, you know, whose idea it was to take their jacket off.
Well, in Britain, you still discuss policy at the conferences, and people see that on TV. We don't have discussions of that. Would you rather see discussions of policy at our conventions rather than show business?
Yeah, I would, but, you know, it's television, and it's a very, you know, television-oriented society to the point where they blame all the ills of society on the media. Right. And to a degree, they can be, you know, partially right. So, you know, when you get up there, you can't tell people the truth because the truth is not entertaining. It's just very disturbing. That's why. You know.
But what if you told the truth in an entertaining way? For instance, on ER, you know, it's very entertaining. It's the truth, but let's say they did the convention handheld and came through everything and... You know, Dole went down. Let's say Dole's down 20 percentage points in the poll. They get the little thing. Let's see if we can bring him back.
Yeah, I mean, you know, they got to do something, though. It has to be appealing to watch. You know, and I think that's why the Democrats, I think they're a little better with their campaign. It's because they're nice and entertainers, so they have better stars that sit in the audience. Like, you know, Bob, like, he wants to see, what's his name, Bob Hope and all them guys. You know, they're not stars. Those aren't stars from my generation.
The people to be blamed are the Oscars, of course, the Oscar organizers, because they introduced the idea this year that all events should be modeled on the Special Olympics. You noticed that?
Sorry?
The curtains part, the hum of the hubs and spokes, and out whirls another guy, Christopher Reeve at the Democratic Convention.
I see what you're saying.
It's the Special Olympics all the way through now.
Right.
And it's the Oscars.
So you're saying they're using sympathetic characters to sort of raise their own, let's say, Q quotient with the American public.
Yeah. The problem in Britain as well.
If you have sympathy for physically challenged people, yeah.
I think most people do. Although you may not be that way. You may be the one guy going, "What's the matter? Can't you walk?" You may be that guy.
Yeah, this is America, yeah.
All right, let's move on to our next topic of discussion here, ladies and gentlemen. We're done talking about the politics. Let's talk a little bit more personal matters. Last month saw the biggest September opening of a movie ever, The First Wives Club. It's about 3 independent ladies getting revenge on their men for going after younger women. So where are we at with the battle of the sexist thing in 90s America? In Britain, you've apparently all become caring, sharing new men. But what about here in America? We asked both sides for their view.
Very egotistical, and I think it's that whole thing of America being one of the greatest places on the earth and the best country, and therefore they produce the best men.
I have a feeling that British men are more thoughtful and egalitarian than American men.
You know, I've been married for 8 years, and you know, I treat my wife equally.
No, I think we'd both like to have a wife, you know, have a third person in there to do all the cleaning and sure, you know. The woman should stay home, cook, clean, and male chauvinist. No, I'm not a male chauvinist. That's the way I was brought up. My mother sat home, cooked and cleaned. My father gave her a paycheck.
Most guys are going to want to help you out if they can.
We're all dogs. All men are dogs.
I think there are men who are sensitive and who are caring. I think they're few and far between and perhaps live on other planets, but...
We come out here on a summer day and we really enjoy, don't listen to the relatively more scantily clad women. We enjoy that.
I don't think we're too caring or sensitive. I think we just care about ourselves and our personal needs.
Most of my weekend is spent looking after my little boy and giving my wife a break.
And I think the new man is a woman's creation.
Wow. You're the expert. Now, I say that Helen Gurley Brown is a recognized expert in this field. Tell us what women want so we can pretend to be that and they'll like us.
I think we got the new man in this country, and now we want to give him back. We got a man who sobbed up his, sobbing uncontrollably with a sad movie and tears streaming down his face at La Traviata, and he does a few dishes, and he doesn't ever speak above a whisper if you're trying to say something. He just turned out to be kind of not what we really thought we wanted, a little wimpy.
See, I consider myself, I think, to be a new man. John, I think I'm a new man. I do the washing, I do the ironing.
You cry?
I cry. I've got a fairly good idea.
I think your girlfriend or wife is probably going to leave you.
Well.
Now, Dave, as a young man, you're out. You're single. Oh, yeah. How do you pretend to be more sensitive for women? Do you feel like you're a new man? You're a caring man?
Well, I'm young enough to not know what the old man was necessarily.
Right.
But I tend to agree with her. I think a man who is too sensitive gets trampled. As much as women like to say that they want sensitivity, they have their limits. And sometimes a woman will test you and push you. I'm having problems at home. She'll test me. She'll push me, just to get a reaction. Just to hear me go, "Girl, you crazy!" She's like, "Ooh, now that's the man I want."
So she wants you to establish your territory.
I've been a nice guy most of my life, and as soon as I started being mean, I lost my virginity.
There's something that the new man is willing to do without any problem whatever. He's willing to let you pick up a check and pay not only half, but everything, and we just as soon give that back.
Now, as the only woman, though, it sounds like women are very demanding. You're saying we wanted a new man, we got it, we didn't like it, we gave it back, we'd like a newer man, but still pick up the checks, but in any way, but don't cry, but cry a little, but hold me, but no, punch me. You know, what? Please. You're driving Dave and I and everyone else insane!
It's like,
now, maybe this is an American phenomenon, though, because the women in the British side seem to feel that that sensitive, caring man not only existed in England, but is what they wanted in England.
The new man was kind of sort of paranoid about how they behaved. They were kind of fighting against their natural instincts. I mean, I always measured a new man by how far he let a woman he was very attracted to walk past him before he turned around and had another look at her from behind. And you could measure them, is he a 10-yarder? Is he a 20-yarder?
So it's like braking distances.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that all these things are actually not new men. It's just old journalism. It's the same. It comes around about every 10 years or so.
There's a reaction to the new man thing in Britain, which is kind of new lads type thing.
Now, what is a new lad as opposed to a new man?
There's there's a magazine out called Loaded, which is kind of like, it's great to go out, call women birds again, drink lots of beer, get drunk and behave very insensitively. And this is kind of a reaction to too much of the new man thing.
The lads are the reason I left England when I look back on it, actually.
What's a lad?
The guys who like to drink beer and go to football matches and call women birds and so on.
Really? Now that's
the
why you
people
left.
that we export in the form of football fans to go and trash Paris and Amsterdam and Berlin and so on.
Right.
You can go, boring as baseball is, as we were just pointing out with that kid with the Fagin boy.
Right.
You can go to a baseball game and you can pass a $10 bill along the row and get your hamburger and your hot dog and your beer back with your change.
You've never been to Yankee Stadium, my friend. Believe me.
This was at Yankee Stadium, my first week
If you
in New
pass a
York.
$10 bill down at Yankee Stadium, you will get a vial of crack back.
Here's the myth. Having come to America, and I always like it because it's like, I think lots of Americans don't go and actually see what it's like in Britain, and you've got this kind of image, which is very nice for people like me, that we're kind of very well behaved and very nice and rather jolly and pleasant. Right. But you should be at Saturday afternoon at a football match, possibly, in the wrong place, and you would soon learn that. Well, it can be, but that's.